They most certainly could have then, as it finishes Wolves 2, Manchester United 0. Here's Ruben Amorim.
The idea needs time. I know that I said it before you guys, that this will be a tough moment, and we are far from the end of this moment, and that's it. We have to continue and focus on the next game.
When you managed this player, worse than you thought?
No, I managed, but I didn't train, so they need time to train. They are changing completely the way of playing. It's really hard on them. It's really hard on the staff also to pass all the information. And then when you don't have results, it's even harder for them to believe. So we have to continue. We already knew that is a tough moment, and we have to focus on the next game.
The question, by the way, is, are the players worse than you expected? Manchester United down now to 14th in the table. Don Stewart. Don, tell me something new about Manchester United that we haven't brought to the table before, because I know we've sat here before and say, look, this is who he's got, this is the squad that he's got to play with. You can't have any high expectations, but there's got to be something better than what we saw once again on the table today.
Well, I'm sort of getting to the point, and I know he's only been there 5 minutes. I totally understand that, and I get that he probably hasn't got the personnel, especially in midfield, and we've talked about the lack of legs a million times over, and he hasn't got the personnel to play a two in midfield. So the question I would ask Ruben Amorim is, why are you persevering with this three at the back system with your wing backs and two in midfield and the three up front? So if you concentrate on the two guys in midfield, whatever two he picks, none of them can't get around the pitch. So there you go, Kobbie Mainoo, Ugarte, whether it's Casemiro or Eriksen, they finished the game. None of them can get around the pitch. So why wouldn't you try and go a little bit different? I understand your principles, and I understand this is what you want to do going forward, but you can't sacrifice all of this being a Man United manager and losing games every single week. So to me, a talented manager, which I think Amorim is why wouldn't you do something different to just go in the same system and getting beat every week? Why would you not try and go three in midfield? I could look at Bruno Fernandes, Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte and think, yeah, that's a good midfield. That doesn't have to get around the pitch, but they're tidy in possession, so you've got the extra number. Why would you just go two in midfield against Premier League teams that play three in there and you're constantly getting outnumbered? It doesn't make sense to me.
I kind of feel a little bit for Amorim, because he's got a tough decision to make. And we sit here and we talk about, you know, you've got to do what you've got to do to compete and get results. But this is slightly different. And the problem Amorim has is that he has a way that he wants the team to play. But if he wants to get results, then he shouldn't play this way. But he's trying to bring a culture into Manchester United, and he's trying to bring a system in of how they're going to play. And so he needs to try and win some games along the way just to keep the pressure off a little bit, because he's going to have to add slowly. And so to build the culture and play the way you want to play, you have to do it so that when you do add a couple of players, then you start building. And then you start building, and you start building. I mean, you look at City, you look at Liverpool, I mean, look at Arsenal. They've got completely different starting 11 than they had when these managers started. And so that's the problem you have. Do you take the punches now while the pressure's really not on you? You know, between now and the end of the season, he's not going anywhere, right?
I don't know, Stevie.
But that's the problem is Manchester United they've got to start from the beginning, and they've got to get a culture and a system of play and a way that everybody in the club understands this is what we do. And so when you start adding pieces, they come into it.
But
and
the problem is
on the same page.
You've got to get rid of pieces to bring pieces in. And look at that squad. Who on earth is bringing you any sort of money to the table that you can then use to reinvest in?
I mean, but what's his options? Are his options to do what Ten Hag did and just sit on top of the penalty box? Because they did that and they won the odd game, but they weren't good.
Why?
So that's the problem.
Why do we see new manager back? For like Wolves, for example. A new manager comes in, they look much better, more confident, win back-to-back. Why do we see that with some of these sides and we've seen no response from Manchester United?
Well, Manchester United right now do not have one forward in their staff that looks as though he can remember where the goal is. So how are you supposed to win games when you've got nobody, and I mean nobody, on your staff that can score a goal?
Does this lead us into a Marcus Rashford discussion again?
Well, I mean, who are you relying on, right? We've been talking about Amad Diallo. He's a kid.
Right.
He scored a couple of really good goals.
Yep.
But you're not asking him to be your talisman.
And anyone can score against City.
Hoyland has been an absolute disaster in terms of goal scoring.
Yep.
Rashford doesn't even
on the naughty
doesn't
seat.
even want to be there. Garnacho, as many chances as he's had, doesn't score any goals.
Yep.
They've signed Zirkzee, who, guess what, doesn't score any goals. So, you know, regardless of whatever way you want to play, if you've got nobody who knows exactly where the goal is set up, how can you win a game of football? There's just so many problems. So that's why I'm saying it's tough for Amorim. And I think he probably should just stick to what he's doing, get yourself a system of play, and eventually...
How far are we off relegation if United? If United, how many points?
They're not getting relegated.
Don't be smiling at.
For a club that's hardly got any money, though, they've got to finish in the European spot, surely.
Well, they're not doing that.
I mean, they've got to try and get close.
That's not happening.
Well, they're not. So Europa League might be their best chance of getting back into the Champions League. Because
no, they're not doing
they've got no
top
chance
six,
of
top
finishing
seven.
European spots. No.
That's it. Don's had enough. Fair enough. I think we all have of Manchester United. Oh, I don't want to talk about Rashford. Oh, Don, Rashford's not there again.
But what difference
where's
is
he
Rashford
going to go?
make?
He hasn't got a future.
Oh, what's going to happen? He's
going to go on loan.
Rashford.
He's going to go on
Who's
loan.
going to take him?
This time next week, he'll be at Dortmund on loan. Man United paying all the wages. That's where
There
he'll
we
be.
are. There we go.
As if Marcus Rashford's going to make any difference. I don't think so.
There we go. Good. Tick that box.